The views and opinions expressed on this show do not reflect that of the staff and management of WNOV and W293CX 106.5 FM Courier Communications Milwaukee, but are the sole comments of the host and guest of this particular show.
The views and opinions expressed in this program do not reflect those of Wisconsin Voices. The views and opinions expressed by host and guests are their own, and their appearance on the show does not imply any endorsement or representation by Wisconsin Voices. Thank you for listening to Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices.
Be a voice.
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 Visit WisconsinVoices.org.
Visit WisconsinVoices.org.
Visit WisconsinVoices.org
And learn more on how to be a voice with Wisconsin Voice.
Hello, Milwaukee and people outside of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and across the country who are listening to WNOV 860 AM 106.5 FM. We got a few more things today. We have we're going to start back with our partner. Having our partners in. We have a lovely guest coming on. We're going to wait and she'll introduce herself in a little bit. Got a little bit of things to talk about. Now, over the course of the last couple of months, we had interviewed all these candidates. And, before I go into that, I just want to thank the Wisconsin Voices staff. We come together, we do a lot of stuff. We kind of make a bunch of stuff happen with a small crew. You have heard from our co-executive director. You have heard from me. You have heard from Latoya and Brian. You've heard from Chi, our communications director, and Angelique, which is our what is she? She's our field and data manager. She is still with us. She'll be working part-time because she just can't leave us. We just hired our Madison partnership manager, and that's Shanita Roach. And then we have hired one more person, and that is our social media and communications director. I think you guys heard that our Keon Jackson Malone is no longer with WNOV, but he is now a full-time employee of Wisconsin Voices. So we would like to thank him for coming on. He will be on the show sometime just because our whole staff comes on at some point or another. So you won't be missing Keon too much, but it's we want to thank him for taking this opportunity and coming working in the community with us. With that being said, let's talk about the stuff that I have to talk about. So back to, for the last couple of months, we interviewed candidates. We wanted to make sure people knew exactly what their roles were, what they did, how they did it. And so we, as Be a Voice, is going to try to keep on top of things that are going on within the government, going on within the city. So we have a couple of things that we want to tell you. Let's talk about the Milwaukee County Board. Their swearing in is today. So they start a new term. So everybody will be sworn in today. That is a public event. And it's at the Milwaukee Courthouse, which is 901 North 9th Street. And it's in Rome 200. That is today at 1:30. So congratulate the people who have got reelected and to swear, and they'll be sworn in because you have to swear in every term. And then the newly elected people will also be sworn in. We're going to try to make sure that we know what's going on with each of the agendas. Joe will be coming in, making sure we know what's on agendas, making sure that we keep track of what's going on and trying to keep information to you guys. The next swearing in for the city of Milwaukee Common Council is tomorrow, and that is April 16th. But that is a ticketed event, and I tried to find out how you get tickets. Not exactly sure because it's not on the website. Maybe you have to go through your alder to get it, or something. But it is a ticketed event. But it is going to be broadcast on, I think it's on Spectrum, it's channel 25. And then if you have AT&T, it's on channel 99. But that's at 10:30 tomorrow morning. So it's a limited seating capacity at City Hall. So just letting you know that they getting ready to start to work. Oh no. It's
Start making sure they keeping up with their other. People need to start making sure they keeping up with their community and what they want to see done.
And those are the things. Start from scratch. Remember, we said we wanted to know who was in office. They have made promises. They have made things that they want to do. Now, don't call them tomorrow after they get sworn in and say, you said that you was going to do. Can you give them a little bit of time? Get them acclimated and let them be acclimated into the roles and learn the roles. So don't be trying to pressure them 2 days a week. Give them at least a month or two to just get settled. But if they start out, some people start out real strong and have ordinances or legislation they want to put out, and just start watching it.
Well, I'll say, I'm going to be honest with you. People that's newly elected, yeah, I'll do that for. For people that's been man, you better get to work.
Okay, I get that. Yeah, for the newly elected people, give them a chance. The other people, let's start watching. Let's hold them accountable, but let's praise them when they do good work. Let's ask questions if we're unsure. No finger pointing, but ask the questions, and then when they don't give you the right answer, you can do whatever you want to do. But we really want to make sure that we're engaged in the Milwaukee County and the city of Milwaukee agendas. For the suburbs, if you're listening, if you have something that you feel needs to be brought to attention of the greater good, let us know about it. You can always send it to info@wisconsinvoices.org, or email me. All of our emails are on the website. But we're going, and especially if you have something policy wise or ordinances coming on, please email Joe, and Joe is at Joe Joe at Wisconsin spelled out voices.org. He has the simplest email of all of them. Just Joe. Joe.
To make it real quick before you go past the newly elected officials of Milwaukee and Milwaukee County, this is a good time for the newly elected officials as well, if you are listening, to be more present in the community. As a lot of people have mentioned, and a lot of calls and people I've talked to, they want to see you more. And if it's opportunity for you to wipe your slate clean and be like, you know what, I'm gonna try this community thing just a little bit more, or just find ways to make it unique for yourself to be out in the community more. But and it's a time for, not only the people in the community to start paying attention more and talking to their politicians in their area, but for the politicians to make themselves more attractive towards their individuals or in the community, constituents, excuse me. Yeah. So yeah, that's it.
And we are in what Wisconsin Voices will try to do is, if we have events in your area, we want to make sure that we tell you. If we are doing a community cookout, we want to tell you about that. If we're trying to put that spades tournament together, so we, and I was told that BidWiz must be a part of that. So, we have to figure that out. But that's an alderman we can tell the alder people that, and they can come in at their leisure. But that is something that is, they can just walk through, say hi, meet the people there. And even though it's in one particular aldermanic district, all these people that are going to be at these events are from all over the city, all over, the county. It's not just one area. So we're going to work on that. So I talked about the county and I talked about the city. There is one other issue that we also said we were going to start doing, is looking at Milwaukee School Board. And one thing that was brought to my attention, and I think Michelle Bryan talked a little bit about it today on her show, is that Milwaukee County School Board, the City of Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Public School District is having a monthly regular meeting on Thursday, April 18th. It's at 5:30 and it's at the Central Service Building Auditorium, 5225 West Village Street in Milwaukee. One of the agenda items that I don't know who this is about. I've heard, but it doesn't say exactly, but under K new business for referral to committee unless otherwise indicated. And it's consideration of and possible action on the initiation of an investigation of concerns and complaints regarding a board member. So we don't know exactly what that is or how that is, but if you want to know what's going on, now this is one of the board members and I'm not for sure which one it is. I've heard, but I haven't seen anything official on it. So therefore I'm not going to say the board member's name, but come, if you want to see it, you can go there and see what, is it the one that is representing you? Is it the one that is, that you like the most or you voted for? So these meetings really make a difference. We have to start to pay attention. So we will be looking at school board meetings, common council meetings, City of Milwaukee meetings. Which I think. You think we got a good plan here?
Yes.
People informed on those meetings. Heck yeah. I think, yeah, like you about to say the same thing. Yeah. 'Cause I myself personally, I mean, when I went to that, to whatever page that was, when I was looking at whatever meeting we was talking about the other week when it was something going on with voters, with the vote, not the voting, but the Republican National Convention. And I went and looked at that list. I'm like, there's all type of stuff going on. All types of meetings about all type of stuff that you can really tap into.
And look how when they had that meeting, how they was brushing stuff past. And just the room just stood up when I got to asking them hard questions like, okay, so y'all saying y'all gonna investigate and research us? Is y'all gonna research them and anybody that have any got arrested for any protesting type activity? You wasn't going to be able to come. I said, so, okay, the people, because these are the people that came from January the 6th.
Oh, yeah.
So are they not going to be able to, oh, wait, this is their convention. Oh, okay. I get it. So, yeah, definitely. So you, like you said, Brian, you got to pay attention and you got to come to some of these meetings. If you don't stay the whole day, just listen in because it really, okay. Because it really, really matters. And they be trying to get stuff slidden through. And
slidden through. I like that. It ain't even slide. It ain't even slick. It's slidden through. See, that's how you know they slimy.
That's true though. That's real though. They slide stuff right on through there and people, because people don't be there to pay attention on what's going on.
And have a voice like you, where you get up and really speak.
We're really trying to make sure that we do community engagement. This is not something that we just gonna jump on the bandwagon when it comes to election year. We really are trying to protect democracy, build community, and teach advocacy. And that is what Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices does. Well, now, we have a lot of partners, but this partner's name, I always call her the whole name. I love her name. It's we are here with.
I love her and the amazing work she's doing.
Yeah, but I let's just talk to Dana World Patterson. Yeah. Hello, Miss World Patterson. May we call you Dana?
Absolutely.
Hello, how are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you.
Well, for people who don't know you, why don't you introduce yourself? Because it's easier for somebody else to introduce yourself, and then we'll give you all the accolades you need.
Oh, well, first of all, thank you so much for the opportunity to sit at the table with you all on this beautiful Monday morning. I'm Dana World Patterson, and I have the ability, I have the privilege, I should say, of working with individuals throughout the community. The Wind Beneath My Wings is helping women and girls to be stronger, those that have been sexually exploited in many different ways, and particular human trafficking has been the past 16 years. But for over 30, I've been helping women and girls, men and boys, to be strengthened from the inside out. And it has been an amazing journey, and I absolutely love the opportunity for partnership with Wisconsin Voices. And I was thinking this morning, you want to say something?
Oh,
I was thinking about partnership and partners. You know, when you have a good partner, they can stand on their own 2 feet doing what they do, what they were created to do. But when you come together, it's just dunamis power. And you're able to reach more people. You're able to be strengthened in the work that you've been called to do. And it just iron sharpening iron. So the opportunity to partner with Wisconsin Voices has been amazing.
oh, thank you. It has been amazing. Truly the work that you do in the community, and for you to partner with us and really form a program to help add civic engagement to such a tedious issue in the community. That's not an easy issue to ask people to, oh, I need all your information. And these people have, as you know, have been violated and mistreated for a long time. So they're very scared to trust people. So I watch how you really interact with the young ladies and really get them involved in the community. So I can truly say you do amazing work.
Yeah. So, quick question for you, just as far as going into what was a true inspiration? Like, what did you see at that point where you was like, okay, it's time to get my own lane in helping folks the way I want to help folks? Like, what was that one thing you seen, or if you can recall those couple things, whichever one comes first.
Okay. All right. So I'm old. So allow me to respond, and then I'm going to answer your question because they both work together. The opportunity for civic engagement with the population or the individuals that we work with, they want to be normal. They want to assimilate. They don't want to stand out with the prickliness that the world has taught them. Right? They want to come in and be normal individuals that contribute to society. So it was about 16 years ago when Martha Love invited me to the conversation.
Big love.
Oh, yeah. And she knew that I was a minister. She knew that I had been working with women and girls teaching etiquette and image. And I presumed that, you know, my name had preceded me in this work. And she asked me if I had heard of the term human trafficking. I was not familiar with human trafficking, but of course the salaciousness that goes with it. And she said, join me. And at that time, the county was creating conversation and learning and growing around human trafficking and the need for us to do more. And that brings in Michelle Bryant. That brings in, you know, just some wonderful people that created the work through, what was the name? They did a survey at the gathering. What was,
It'll come to you.
it will come to me, but it was that work where, and Michelle saw young girls going into the hotels with men. So just what she saw, gathering information, we began to learn and grow about human trafficking. And interestingly, after 2 years, when the resolution sunset, they asked if I would become the chairperson. I was like, sure, as long as you all don't leave me. Right. And so it was at that time that I became the chair. The city picked it up through the health department, and we gave it changed the name, gave it a mission, and we were meeting literally every month up to COVID. So we were garnering 30 to 40 people a month that were coming and learning, growing. And the best part, which is so phenomenal, and I would say the feather in my cap, is that individuals that were survivors, that had gone through this lifestyle and experienced the life, they were coming to our meetings. They were bringing their aunties, their grandmothers. They were learning themselves as they were being entrenched around people who cared. And that is what I absolutely love about this work, that it has been verified by individuals who have been in the life.
One of the things that I used to go to these meetings. I think that's where I first met you, when back in the day. And there would be so many people who would have a story. But one of the things that I found is when people look at human trafficking, they think prostitute, pimp, they think, working girl. But some of the trafficking happens culturally within the families. And I think the one time that I was there was a particular woman who said that she was passed around among the relatives, not relatives, but the people in her community. And she gave this story, and she thought it was just normal because it was part of their culture. And I was baffled, and I will never forget that. And I saw Martha Love, and I said, Martha, is this really something that happens all the time? And she's like, you wouldn't believe the stories that you hear. We're going to take one call, and then we're going to go to break. Caller, go ahead.
Good morning. I couldn't let you get away without having at least one call to your wonderful ministry and program. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning, Miss LaToya, Miss Tamika, and Dana World Patterson, another one of my favorites. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
You always forget Brian, though. August started to get hurt.
Every week you do this, and I just shake my head every time. I'm like, well, you know what? Tyrone, you got to meet, man. So
we're going to get together. We'll join hands. I'm on my way out the door now to make a run somewhere. That's why I stuck around. But I did that. Good morning, Milwaukee.
Good morning.
I stopped and held up where I was going just so I could hear your conversation here. And I just want to say very quickly, Ms. Pettis is doing a wonderful job, as well as you all as well. Good morning, Mr. Ryder. Good morning, Mr. Scarby. And, I just wanted to say, with mental health being, please, somebody contact Dr. Tamika L. Johnson and have her be a part of this team so we can betterly understand, because her article, I love it, and the Community Journal there, but and she's got a cute little photo in there where she's posing for us there. So we've got to include her, and somebody reach out to her and have her, because I need to hear her voice, especially personally. Even though I did read the article.
Well, thank you for your suggestion. We may do that. We may not. You can't be demanding people. But we already have that in the works.
We need to hear from her.
Well, you are right. You are right.
You could have emailed us. Don't come to the show talking about, but we kind of shameless because we still want our building, so
Get the paperwork in, and like I said, another thing on that, find out who the alderman is. Commander McGee was the alderman back then, and he was instrumental in Claiborne getting that. But like I said, county exec, mayor, find out who that alderman is and get them busy. Love you. We'll talk.
We'll talk.
Catch Wisconsin Voices Be a Voice Radio every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. as we focus on community partnerships, voter education, and long-term collective impact for all Wisconsinites.
You're listening to Wisconsin Voices Be a Voice Radio. Follow us at BAWI Voice and learn more at wisconsinvoices.org. Wisconsin Voices 3 pillars: protecting democracy, teaching advocacy, building community.
What is the average age of, and there's two things I want to talk about, is how prevalent is it in the city of Milwaukee? And then the average age of the boys, girls, men, women, and just talk about, because I don't think people realize how the severity of this issue is.
Correct. In the United States, let's start there. The average age that a girl is human trafficked is 13.
So when you say average age, I want this to be clear. When you do an average, it's average. So you're going to have some that are younger than that.
Absolutely.
Some that are older than that. But to have such a low age, to be 13, majority of the people have to be around 13, or they have to be younger than the older people to average it out to 13.
If you can remember being 13 years old, females being 13 years old, and all the things that our bodies were going through, maybe we were in a good relationship, but the push and pull of being an adult, still in this child's world, for me, nowadays, 13-year-olds are shaped like a boomeraka, right? They are
a boomeraka.
Yes.
They eat that cornmeal.
Developed, right?
But they're mentally they're not.
Exactly. And now we have social media, all the comparisons, and the glue that I've come to learn is vulnerability. It's why 13. One perpetrator, said that if I can F the head, the body will follow. Many individuals are looking for something that's missing, that vulnerable space. So within that space, maybe, even the term daddy, I'll be your daddy. How can you be my daddy? Well, because your grandfather didn't take care of you, your daddy didn't take care of you, your uncle, your cousins, they didn't protect you. Let me protect you. So if you're 13, you're vulnerable, you're in that space, you're longing. It is amazing how quickly. And then they don't show up like a perpetrator. They're showing up fine. They're showing up with gifts. They're showing up liking you. They're showing up as boyfriends.
They're in the end game. They're playing the long game.
Exactly. So it behoove anyone looking like a pimp, diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with the gangster lean in 2024 is foolish, right? That game has passed because we know too much. And as in this space of advocacy, it is imperative that our young people and old and mamas and aunties and cousins, where the gifts are coming, even if it's something as simple as
some candy,
simple stuff, simple. The coercion starts so quickly. It is so fast that an individual is able to wrap them around their finger, but it can be slow.
Miss Dana, real quick, and that was great information. I appreciate that. When you say now, looking at the way it is, the game it won't even be the same with the sex trafficking in certain ways, because now you got folks that have like guys, individuals that got a lot of money that get into that sex trafficking. So sometimes the victims won't even be the extremely vulnerable, no dad type. It may be just that I'm hungry for the paper, so I get caught up in this lifestyle, and then they use the drugs to entice an individual to go down that route, and you could be getting sex trafficked by a person that's sitting on a strong six figures or a multimillionaire,
Absolutely.
as we see with some of our celebrities in the media, allegedly, of some of our celebrities and the ones that have been prosecuted as well.
Absolutely. That's right. That's just one path and a very common path. Okay. But we know that I've had conversations with individuals making six figures, and she said, I would have never thought that that would have been me. But he had a way that tapped into my childhood where I was vulnerable, where I hadn't healed. And she was corporate America. She said, how did this happen to me? He was the long game.
And here's the other thing. We keep saying he. But there's some women out there who are doing the same thing as well. I remember there's a woman on TikTok. And she had a whole nest of women that it was almost cult-like, that she was, had these people the women under her spell, and she ended up getting taken down, but it was real. I mean, across the country, she had women who were sending her money, for whatever it was. This is both men and women. It's not a situation that we can just look at men and say, oh, they're doing it. We have to watch everybody now.
And they also have a ring, because they not only say if a person took or persuade a young lady or a young man to go with them from here, they take them to other states where it's other people there with houses, apartments, clubs that they gonna have them dancing at. They track on whether you are a virgin, and you cost more when you are. So it's a whole lot of stuff that goes behind. It's a lot. If you go to New York, you'll see on there, you know how you had an emergency for the weather, where in New York they have it just pops up every couple of minutes that if you see somebody being sex trafficked, call this number, because that's actually where they took my family member. So it happens a lot.
And the term human trafficking, sex trafficking, it's now more prevalent that you'll hear those terms, but it's actually, I call them inter-office terms. When you're dealing with individuals on the street, then, I mean, especially early on, human traffic, but I'm not human, I'm just saying the vernacular they use. I'm not human traffic.
On 8 on this show.
Okay. I'm not human traffic, so it was more of an inter-office term where we were learning and growing, but in the street, it's totally different what's going on and the verbiage. But now, because we've been in this now 16 years, when we first started, the narrative is that human trafficking was an inner city Black girl, no father. I added eating flour and water. It was how low can you go? While we were talking about it, this was a $32 billion industry. And Martha and I, we were just like, 32 billion, B with a B. And inner city Black girl, no father, eating flour and water. It just didn't go together. And we began to say, not in our neighborhood, not in yours. We didn't have that connector. But we just knew this just isn't enough information, because from meeting to meeting, that was being carried when we were talking with the judges. They're talking about the inner city Black girl, law enforcement, inner city Black girl. From meeting to meeting, inner city Black girl, we knew that had to be enlarged. So within that space, not in our neighborhood, not in yours, the suburbs didn't want to deal with it, because it's like, listen, that's for y'all. That's for Milwaukee. That's not for us. Knowing that this is hidden in plain sight. Martha and I were at a meeting, and J.B. Van Hollen, the Attorney General at the time, said human trafficking is occurring in all 72 counties. And that was the connector that we needed while the doors were opening for Martha and I, but to hear the Attorney General say that human trafficking is occurring in all 72 counties was exactly what we needed to move this conversation even further. And those that were in the outlying areas began to come to our meetings to learn and to grow because their eyes were open that this could be my daughter, my neighbor, someone in my community because of that validation from the Attorney General. And it was just a godsend. I've never met him. I was in the same room. They were calling saying, we can't find that quote. Where did call him? We were in the same room when he said it. And it was an amazing opening of this Pandora's box to get the state to tune in and to pay attention that human trafficking doesn't care about your age, your color, your creed, your religion, how much money you make, how many bedrooms are in your house. They don't care if you're eating flour and water or if you have a 6-figure income. It doesn't matter. It's looking for that vulnerability. How can I shape this person to believe that they're the best thing since sliced pie and then give me that money? It's all about the mighty dollars. So that game is, if the perpetrators would use that savviness and put it into another business, they would do very, very well. But the commodity of humans every single day, 24/7, no breaks, is devastating.
There is another side of trafficking, which I have seen a couple of articles on, but when they actually have people working for them, not in a sexual sense, but doing housework, nannying, and I've seen a couple of articles where some nannies in New York and different bigger areas, their passports are taken.
Yeah.
And they are basically forced into slave labor.
Sure.
So this is a all around trafficking is not just one thing. It is so big, and we may not pay attention because we're so focused on one particular kind of trafficking when the other one might be next door to us or right down the street. You never know. So we want to make sure that there is a lens that you can see all of the things, how we are abusing each other. And I think that is key because this is literally abuse.
Mm-hmm. Labor trafficking, you'll have your labor trafficking and your sex trafficking. Labor trafficking the numbers are far greater for those who are labor trafficked than those who are sex trafficked. And within labor trafficking, you also will experience the sex trafficking, the sexual exploitation. For sex trafficking, we're looking at now being mindful that this is hidden in plain sight, that the numbers cannot be accurate, but 28 million women and girls. And when you consider that number, you have to also be mindful, because this is hidden in plain sight. If 28 million women and girls have been counted, how many more have not been counted? Flat out. When we first started, we were talking about $32 billion. Now we're talking about $150 billion a year worldwide.
Within 16 years, it went from...
Yes, ma'am. If we're now talking about $150 billion from the beginning to now, how much more money is being garnered every single day? Every day. And it's from our little girls and our little boys to those who have been in the life. I went to a presentation Saturday. The average age of those who were trafficked and or still in the life was 36.
Please join Wisconsin Voices every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. We will be focusing on community partnerships, voter education, and long-term collective impact for all Wisconsinites.
You're listening to Wisconsin Voices Be a Voice Radio. Follow us at BAWI Voice and learn more at wisconsinvoices.org.
The three pillars of Wisconsin Voices are protecting democracy, teaching advocacy, and building community. Learn more about Wisconsin Voices and our partners at wisconsinvoices.org. Stay up to date on our community events page and get involved by visiting our donation page.
Swirl Patterson, you have an organization that you founded and you are the CEO of. Tell us a little bit the name and a little bit about that organization.
I'm happy to.
Oh, see, she got a smile on her face. She's like really excited now.
Foundations for Freedom Inc. turns 10 on Wednesday.
Congratulations.
Yes, I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and I've always wanted to have a not-for-profit, but I wanted it to be something that just gave me life. It was wind beneath my wings. And it became very apparent, Visions Etiquette Training is my etiquette and image or business. And we're 30 plus years doing that, building from the inside out. And as a result of learning and growing more about human trafficking in the early days, I was like, Lord, I don't want to give up what I love. I absolutely love the side of image and etiquette and building self-confidence. How can I have another business that is specific to human trafficking without giving up what I absolutely love on this side? And I went to a high school. We were building just a really fantastic, trusted group, 15 girls. And this particular day, I asked how many of them have been touched inappropriate. 15 girls. How many do you think raised their hand?
All of them.
14 of the 15 girls raised their hand. And that was my aha, that I could continue to do the work of building from the inside out while raising awareness and strengthening those who had been touched. Because it was already documented that perpetrators they look for individuals that have already been touched. So 13 is the average age that girls are trafficked domestically. Pimps are looking for individuals that have already been touched. So I knew that was a gateway for the population that I could serve through Foundations for Freedom. And it was just line upon line, precept upon precept, building and growing, and now Foundations for Freedom, where we say we strengthen women and girls. That's what we do, and men and boys, because I found that if the conversation is just with the women and the girls, the men and the boys who are likely to be the perpetrators, and don't throw bricks or rocks at me, but they're likely to fill the strip clubs. They're likely to be the ones that are seeking sex on the street. They're likely to be the ones that are watching pornography. Men and boys, if their mindset isn't interrupted, then we just continue to have this cycle of violence. So I absolutely love talking to the men and the boys. We started a program within Foundations for Freedom called Men for Men, because I did not want to be even the fly on the wall to have the conversation with men and boys in a way that men could talk to men and boys could talk to boys. But what I found is that without a safe place to land, the conversation and the activity, the behavior continues.
All right, we have a caller, and let's see what the caller wants to ask or say. Again, it's 414-444-5250. Caller, go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon. I was sitting here listening to the conversation, and it's a very, very, very powerful conversation. And I want to ask, how many people, how many young ladies or young men that have you actually honestly, all honesty, rescued out of the hands of an angry pimp, or maybe a flattering pimp, or a pimpette, lady of leisure, whatever they want to call themselves?
Oh, man.
How many have you? And then I want to drop a jewel on you. But how many have you honestly rescued? I mean, I'm not saying the lectures and the motivated speaking. That's well needed to tame and train the young mind.
Mm-hmm.
But how many have you actually retreated out of the hands of a pimp or a lady of leisure?
Actually, the numbers are great.
No. Can you be specific?
No, I cannot. And I'll tell you why. Because it's not the fact that a person is rescued, it's the long haul. Because I've sat in front of many individuals in that space of what will air quote rescue, if they were not ready to not be in the life, then it may be in a year, it may be in a few months, it may be down the road that we.
But listen, a 13-year-old child has no decision to make. Are they ready to come out of the light?
Absolutely.
First of all, they should never have been
Sir?
involved in their
Sir?
or 14.
I can tell you that your information is incorrect. Let's have a conversation about how often that 13-year-old leaves the house, runs away, doesn't come home. We can talk about that. So let's not get in the weeds about, was it 100? Was it 99? Was it 1,000? We're talking about hold on. You have to listen. I'm in this every single day.
Hold on now.
Hold on.
Now, the people that want to support you.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. There are people that want to donate to your organization.
Come on.
They just want to have some statistic numbers.
10 years. 10 years of doing this every single day, working with families of individuals where their daughter, where their niece, where their the person that they love has run away. Someone called me. Now, let me tell you how serious this is. You want to get down deep. 2 years ago, I had a conversation with a mom and the daughter who had run away. She was 15. No. She was 13. Okay? Last week, the sister called me and she said, my sister has your number in her phone. We haven't seen her for 2 years. Why is her number in your phone? When she said her name, I said, yes, I've spoken with her. I went to my records. Yes, I've spoken to the mom. I've spoken to the father. 2 years. She's still missing. So it is important to be mindful that it's not a rescue someone and then they're free forever. No, it is a process. It said that individuals go back to the life 5 to 16 times. We're talking about an individual that has been coerced, that has been forced, or even through the fraud, the lies. So you may touch a person, but if they know that you love them, if they know that you care, if they know that you're going to be there for them, if they know that there's no judgment, we're talking about the long haul. Mm-hmm. So don't ask me for specific numbers when this is real every single day.
And then one of the things is there is, because this is, and I want to kind of ask you this. He asked for real numbers or specific numbers, but how can we do that if we don't even know how many actual people are trafficked? So I think there is, the caller had mentioned that he wanted it to support. He can support.
I want to say something because we sitting here with somebody who has exactly experienced sex trafficking. My niece was 11 when he warped her mind. And like Ms. Dana World Patterson said, the gentleman made a comment, 13-year-old don't have a choice. Or, well, that kid, when she was on her way to school, sometimes she would run away with him because he'd meet her around the corner. And he had her mind for a long time till she got tired and wanted to get out of that life. So it's like she said, it's when that person get tired. They can go back 5 to 20 times. It's when they get tired because they not only are doing it like, and people think of it like it's like a gorilla, like they just taking them and making them
like the
they
movies.
literally
Not the
no,
movies. Where it's
they
going to be
literally
figured
get
out in
their
an
mind.
hour.
They get their mind.
It's not that way. Community is not that way. We can watch these movies and we can look at the salaciousness of prostitution or a person being trafficked, but we're talking about trauma. We're talking about systemic trauma. We're talking about the ability to, for that, all that has occurred day in and day out. We're talking about the beatings. We're talking about your teeth being knocked out. We're talking about, just being degraded. It's not a one and done and it's figured out in an hour. Please don't do that. Trust and believe the individual that you may be working with. Trust and believe, and please do something when an individual may be raped or molested, or just say that, the janitor at the school is buying them lunch. Get involved, because that grooming process leads to something else. I had a girl in high school who said, my friend has asked me to call him daddy. What? That's not normal. Can you please put a red X on his back and tell your friends that is pimp talk and it's a grooming process? So are you going to, that's so cute. Okay, no. We have to be educated so that we can inform our young people and not fear-based, just with the facts. They have to go to the mall moms. They have to let them be teenagers, but we have to educate in a way that the information is in their mind, because a perpetrator does not want to deal with someone who is strong. They do not want to deal with someone who knows their self-worth. Spend time in that area so that they will be less likely to be lured when they're faced with it.
Where is your what's your website?
Foundations, 4, freedom.org. May I also mention that along the way, we've also noticed that there was housing insecurity. And so I had a dream and I saw this white bathroom and I just held it within me. But as I began to grow and learn, I was like, there's a lot of insecurity around housing, and individuals want to know that they're safe. So now we're in the housing business as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
I think we need to have you on again, in the future, because there's so many aspects, so many nuances of this. We don't want to, there is, when you said, watch out for the person who buys the kids lunch. Sometimes there is just an old man who wants to buy lunch, but you have to watch it, see what he's doing on top of that. If he's just, sees a kid hungry, that's one thing. But if it's constant, if you're looking at it, he's doing it for one particular kid all the time, or if he's asking for something, then that's what, so you always want to pay attention. Everything is not, but if you are aware, watching and saying, okay, I've watched this for 6 months and he ain't doing it, then, maybe
She said it's a grooming process.
But you have to watch.
You will know that.
Right. You'll know that process. It's a process rather than
knowledge is important.
So I thank everyone for coming and being a part of Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices. Thank you, Dana World Patterson.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity to educate the ladies that we work with around civics and voting and the need to get involved.
Expressed on this show do not reflect that of the staff and management of WNOV and W293 CX 106.5 FM Courier Communications Milwaukee, but are the sole comments of the host and guest of this particular show.
The views and opinions expressed in this program do not reflect those of Wisconsin Voices, but are those of the host and guests of this particular show, and their appearance on the program does not imply any endorsements or representation by Wisconsin Voices. Thank you for listening to Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices.
Be a voice.
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 Visit WisconsinVoices.org.
Visit WisconsinVoices.org.
Visit WisconsinVoices.org
And learn more on how to be a voice with Wisconsin Voice.